Hello. Welcome to Tea with the President, a new and exciting segment where I get to sit down with President Naokimi and share a cup of tea and talk about the week, what was good, what was challenging, what we're looking forward to, and also just kind of have a casual conversation with you, the viewers. So if you have a question for myself or for President Naokimi, please feel free to put them in the comments, and we would love to, just have a little chat. How are you, President Naokimi?
Actually, Sundays are supposed to be my relaxing day, but today was a bit busy.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. So, yeah, it's been a little bit hectic. I think part of it is just the Peace and Blessing event that's coming up. So
Yeah.
there's been a little bit more meetings than usual, believe it or not.
Right. I mean, even Tea with the President, I don't know if you guys noticed that we're an hour later than usual, but it's because another meeting popped up.
That's right. So thank you for those who are dedicated enough to show up even 1 hour later.
Exactly. Yeah. But glad you could make time for it. You have another meeting after this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Nice.
But it's with breastfed, so
okay.
Should be fine. Yeah.
Breastfed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yesterday during the Saturday night stream, Jennifer and I kind of realized how much had happened in the last week, and we're a little shell-shocked by it's the Korea events, and I think I didn't really notice immediately that it was the Korea events because I'm not in Korea, and like there isn't kind of a huge delegation of us there doing our normal kind of media coverage, but that's what's going on right now, and it's a lot as always, but it's all online.
Yeah, we only had Dr. Young representing us. Well, we had Dr. Ki-hoon Kim was there as well, but basically only two people from North America attended this time. So, and Dr. Young is back in the States. So
right, yeah, he landed.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Dr. Young.
Yes, welcome back, Dr. Young. Apparently, he arrived around 11 a.m. and then he was actually watching my sermon on the drive back to Belvedere. So
that is dedication. Yeah. And he heard it.
Yes, he heard it. We'll talk about that later.
So. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what is a highlight from this past week?
Yeah, I was thinking about highlight. I mean, I had a chance to go to LA. I know you would love to have gone. But,
yeah, I'm jealous.
So it's all work, no play. So I don't know if you need to be jealous.
Okay. Yeah.
But one thing was a highlight was they served sushi for one of the meals. And
yeah.
That.
I don't need to be jealous, but then in the same breath, you say that you had sushi in LA.
Yeah, like if you need me anywhere, if you want to get me anywhere, just a tip, get me some sushi, I'll be there. So that was a highlight. Of course, the program was great, but in terms of what I remember most is the sushi.
The sushi. Well, food is love, right? You felt the love.
Food is love. Yeah. Good food is love.
Specifically good food.
Yes. So that was a highlight.
Great. Yeah. You felt some food love.
Some good food love.
So what was a challenge of this week then?
Well, related to that trip to LA, it's a 3-hour time difference from the East Coast.
Yes.
So typically I, get up a little before 6 to kind of before morning devotion. We have like a 10 minutes of just checking in with Dr. Young beforehand. But when I went to the West Coast, that's 3 a.m., not 6 a.m. So while I was there, for the 3 mornings that I was there, I got up at 2:30 a.m. to be able to check in with them for 10 minutes and a 10 morning devotion. So yeah, that was a challenge.
I remember being in LA and getting up for morning devotion at 3 a.m. during the kind of Christmas holidays. But yes. Talking to people at that hour is like a whole other thing entirely. You know, I just had to be awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm training somebody to kind of take over comment moderation for morning devotion right now. And so it means that I have to have conversations at 6 a.m. And because I watch on Facebook, I usually don't have to do that. So I'm realizing how croaky my voice sounds at that hour.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you brush your teeth and wash your face and drink some water so that you sound
You're ready.
Presentable.
Yeah. Did you at least get to go back to sleep after 3?
One night I did, but the other two I just kept up, and because we scheduled other meetings in between that time because I'm still working off of East Coast meeting times as well.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, one day because of that time zone difference, and I was up since 2:30, it was literally an 18-hour work day.
Oh
It's
my.
like a new record. 18 hours. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this is life.
One big challenge of being in Los Angeles was having to get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And having an 18-hour work day.
Yeah, that was
Bless you.
That's my son's in the same room. I need to tell him to move. All right. So
any other challenges of this past week?
The only other thing is anyway, we'll talk about it more when we visit the comments, but there were certain challenges with the sermon this morning, so we can talk about that when we go over the highlighted comments.
Great. Okay, well, there's a little hook for you guys. There's more to hear about the sermon.
For the next 20 minutes if you want to hear that. Yeah.
So then what is a development that happened this week that you were excited about?
Well, there were a few developments this week. Like the whole Sub-Region 5 pastors meeting, that was quite an effort. I think they had about 28 clergy there, total about 60 people. And many of them, committed to the 43-day. And
wow.
And there was a couple cool things. We had the chief of police from South LA there. And there was
I think I remember him from the City of Refuge event.
Well, it was a her, so I don't know if it's the same person.
Okay. There was a chief of. I think he was a Japanese man.
Maybe anyway, he's a North LA chief of police, but this was a South LA chief of police.
Got it.
And
quite cool. She attended.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, we talked about the need for better communication with the community and the police, and ACLC committed to kind of help be a bridge. And I thought that was very kind of interesting. Like, it's very real and grounded in terms of what we could do to address some immediate, social challenges at this time. So that was neat. And we had Bento Leal, who is a communications expert, and he gave some tips on, spousal relations and communication. So it wasn't just the blessing as a sacrament and a ceremony and the spiritual side, but also practical tips on how to really communicate more effectively. So that was neat.
Great.
So those were some new things with this particular pastor summit. And the last sub-regional one is happening in New York. So I had a chance to attend 3 others to get the best tips for making the sub-region 1 pastor summit the best one. So a little bit of pressure, but confident in making that a great experience for those who show up.
Great. When did you say when that's happening this week?
That's May 13th and 14th, Thursday, Friday, but it's an invite only, so you do need to connect with the ACLC representative to show up. Yeah.
Great. Any other key developments from this week?
Well, yeah, maybe a couple more things. One was I pulled a Dr. Young for
What
my
does that
online holy
mean?
community. I actually recorded my message because I was
Oh,
literally so busy I couldn't attend my own online holy community meeting. So I recorded a message so that they can continue
wow.
meeting on a regular basis. So I felt like inheriting and mimicking my mentor, Dr.
Yeah,
Young.
that's great. Rather than kind of cancel or shift it
Yeah,
if it's something that's already set.
yeah, exactly. So
Best practices from your central figure.
indeed.
Mm.
And the last thing I would say is I knew Dr. Young was coming back today, so I felt like I needed to kind of push the activation or mobilization gear into another gear higher. So we had earlier this week, last week, we had an overall national mobilization meeting. But now for this weekend, we set up by sub-region. So I literally added 5 more weekly meetings this weekend that we'll be doing on a weekly basis until the event. So yes, woe is me. But anyway, I think
we all know how much you love meetings.
Yes. 2-hour meetings back to back, nonetheless.
Oh,
on Saturday. But anyway, I felt they were good, and I felt like people were much more clear on what they need to do, and more excited. So I felt it was worth it. But that's going to be my fate for the next 5 weeks. So
yeah. So those of you watching who tune in every week, Tea with the President is going to be shifted to 9:30 Eastern for the next 5 weeks, including this week. So 4 more weeks after this.
4 more weeks, yeah.
Yes. So
sorry and thank you.
Yes, we're all working together for June 5th. You are leading the charge.
Yes, it is my task.
Let's see. Yeah, we have a comment. Christy Murphy wants to know if you ever considered doing a children's service once a month. I'm sure a lot of parents would greatly appreciate it. You would be a fantastic person to do it.
Wow, thank you. Well, I do give my sermons knowing that my 13-year-old daughter is watching every week. So I try to keep the concept simple enough for middle schoolers and up. Elementary would be another level I would need to work on. But noted, I'll keep that in mind. I'm just trying to think about the general audience and how to keep all the different audience members satisfied with the sermon. Yeah.
Of all ages.
Yeah.
I guess with that, we can go ahead and talk about today's sermon.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So again, if those of you are just tuning in for the first time, I export all of the comments that we get from National Family Service Facebook live stream so that President Naokimi can read them after service and kind of get immediate feedback. And he highlights his favorite ones. We like to go through it together right now. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so Takanori Yanai said, don't throw that stuff away. Donate it to donation centers so we don't produce more trash.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that one because I agree. Not just to throw away what you don't need anymore, but consider among the ones that you're not keeping to further split that into throw away and give away. And so if it's lightly used or relatively new, then it's good that to be able to donate or give it to others. Yeah,
very good point.
Interestingly, my daughter today, she went through all her clothes.
Wow.
She started to do the... Was
she inspired by you, or was it totally independent of the sermon?
I think there was talk about doing it, but I think, yeah, it must have been related to the Sunday sermon as well. So, but that was kind of interesting to see.
That's nice. I mean,
Someone
like,
was paying attention.
exactly. You know that something kind of sunk in, so the rest of it must have kind of sunk in also.
Yeah.
Nice. Osmarina said, yes, True Mother is the daffodil of history, breaking through the frozen winter of this long history, melting down the frozen heart of God, and springing out for the first time to bloom as this absolutely gorgeous flower to display the heart never seen so far.
Yeah, I thought it was just a very poetic messaging of, one of the points I was trying to make. And so, yeah, kudos to Osmarina. You are quite a writer.
Yeah. I mean, as I was reading it, I was also, wow, this is poetic. I gotta read with more feeling.
Yeah, you gotta do it justice, Yoshie. You gotta put your heart into it.
I tried. I gave it my best shot. Christine said, yes, clean and organize. It feels great afterwards. And we have so much, sometimes too much. We can give some to others. We can reduce and better appreciate each item.
Yeah, the point that really stood out for me that I wanted to emphasize or re-emphasize was that when I did the condo cleaning, it was not just that it was clear and clean, but I knew that every item that is in that jar is something that sparks joy for me. Like,
yeah,
there's this sense of like you're creating an environment where you're surrounded by things that bring you joy, which is a much better space to be in than all the typical clutter and messiness and stress when things aren't organized.
Right.
And it affects your ability to be at peace and also function in whatever work or anything that you're doing. So just wanted to emphasize that point.
Be surrounded by things that bring you joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Create your
happy place.
Surroundings. Yes, your happy place.
Literally surround yourself with happiness.
Yes. Okay, so this is my comment. I think I saw a couple of my comments highlighted.
Yes,
today.
Yoshie, you are the winner of the commenters today.
I'm the winner.
You had the most highlighted comments today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I usually comment as Family Fed USA, but when I feel like I have opinions or reflections that don't necessarily like they're my own and not the church's, then I switch over to my own account. Anyway, I said, oh man, holding on to things in your heart can keep you from experiencing newness in your life and relationships. This message is really striking a chord for me this morning.
Yeah, I was curious about that, Yoshie. If you'd like to elaborate any further on that. What about it was striking a chord for you?
Just kind of some conversations that I've had recently. Made me feel that like, yeah, this is a timely message anyway for me. Yeah. And the people around me.
Okay. We'll come back to it because you have 2 more comments.
Okay, Jennifer actually was responding. I think that and the implication that we should be thinking those experiences we can attribute to it and move on is powerful for me. I think often I take my negative experiences as a bad thing, but to thank it, I would never consider.
Yeah, that was a really important point. I wanted to, I was glad that she caught that, but that really it's important to acknowledge the challenges and even the failures that you've experienced as something that has helped shape you and help
Yeah.
you learn and grow.
Yeah.
And if you see it that way, then it's not like a negative thing that you have to clean out, but you're
Right.
actually using it to further support, where you want to go.
Mm.
It's a much more empowering way of looking at,
Yeah.
challenges and failures in
Yeah.
life.
Like just like Marie Kondo, like if it doesn't give you joy, you let go of it, but you think it first. And it's the
Exactly.
same thing.
Exactly.
Same thing in your heart, the things in your heart.
Actually, there's one funny side comment. When I finished my sermon, my daughter came up to me and said, she came up to me, she said that you missed one part. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? And she was like, before you start the cleaning, you're supposed to let the house know that you're going to start the cleaning and do a prayer. Like,
Wow. Interesting.
I was like, wow, paying attention.
Okay.
Because we watched the Kondo series together. So she was
So
saying,
what's the kind of like heart kind
the
of other
heart
side
is
of
like
that?
whenever you're making a major kind of cleaning, it's a major shift in the energy in the house. And so you're kind of preparing the environment by
Okay.
offering a prayer and saying, we're about to do a spring cleaning.
Wow.
And it's kind of like it's like respecting the relationship with things. You're actually giving them a heads up before you start the process.
Mhm.
And it also centers you to see it as a relationship of sorts. And so it's a very intriguing approach, but it's very Eastern in nature, where
Right.
there's like a spirit and energy to everything around you.
Yeah. Kenny asked if I could repeat the comment, so I'm going to read it again. I think that the implication that we should be thanking those experiences for whatever purpose, then move on, is powerful for me. I think I often take my negative experiences as a bad thing, but to thank it, I would never consider. Yeah.
Yeah, Yoshie, you did break up again a little bit. Your Wi-Fi is a little bit choppy, so you might need to repeat it a third time.
Okay. I think
practice your reading. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. I think that the implication that we should be thanking those experiences for whatever purpose or life lived we can attribute to it and move on is powerful for me. I think I often take my negative experiences as a bad thing, but to thank it, I would never consider. Yeah.
Great. That time went smoothly.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully, doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, my comment. Wow. Thank you for your honesty, Naokimi Oppa. That can't have been easy to share. Feeling God's love and forgiveness through your beautiful daughter. What a real and practical example of what making room in your heart for new things looks and feels like.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge your acknowledgement and also that it was not easy to share.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, I wasn't even sure whether I was going to share it or not. I was debating. I didn't even put it in my notes.
Really?
I kept it open. I just said my story in that slide as in my notes. And it wasn't until like I was starting the sermon that I kind of, committed to kind of sharing it. So I didn't even know if I was going to share it at the beginning of the sermon. It was just kind of, felt. Yeah, it was more like what was going through my mind was, I'm a very purpose-driven person. So I was like, if I want to help the listeners really go through this spring cleaning your heart, I need to share personally in order to help people who may be experiencing something similar for them to feel free to do so. I felt like I needed to And so I felt, centered on the purpose, and knowing that God knows that I center on the purpose, I felt like I was put in a spot where I remember thinking to myself, really, God, you really want me to go there? Are you sure you want me to go there?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I did feel that God was asking me to go there.
Yeah.
So
I do appreciate it. Yeah, I think that it's an unusual thing to share from a national pulpit like this, right? I don't know if it's something that we've ever kind of seen before, and I see so much value in it, because I like things that are not talked about are in the dark, and yeah, so it just felt very, very much like an effort to not be in the dark with this kind of with your leadership. Yeah.
It was interesting because right afterwards I had a district meetup with District 6, and one of the first questions was, so how do you decide what you share? And there's a Japanese member and she was like, and is it okay to share this kind of thing? So there was definitely a cultural, Japanese culture is really big on, showing face and avoiding shame. It's very big in Eastern culture. So
yeah.
Anyway, I just felt we are breaking new ground here, hopefully.
Yeah, but we're all about like absolute sex too, right? And in order to have that kind of like wonderful relationships, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah,
and
no,
like
I
the
think
challenges that come with it. So anyway,
yeah,
I'm all for it.
yeah, and I think going to the Celebration 5 summit also helped. I felt like the whole intention of this is really helping us move forward and be proud of sharing the blessing. But if we're not able to talk about the challenges, then it becomes a facade. So I just felt like I need to model it somehow. And anyway, so yeah, we went there.
Okay, so Aunt Lorna said, there's no such thing as failure if we learn. Wow, thank you, President Naokimi-san.
Yeah, I highlighted that one because I felt this was one of the key points I wanted to share, and I am constantly in my role as a mentor and leader, and as a coach, this is one of the key points that I like to emphasize is that as long as you're learning from it, there's there's nothing wrong with making mistakes or failures if you can learn from it. So in fact, if you see it that way, your speed of progress and developments is accelerated tremendously because you're not held back by the fear of failure.
Right.
You can actually fail. There's a book, I think, Fail Forward, where you actually look forward to your failures because you see them as opportunities to grow faster.
Let's see. Marissa Bell said, I don't know why I'm always surprised at how great the message is. Thank you so much, Pastor. You're a true blessing to our community.
That was the one comment I could, just get some positive feedback. Help me feel good about sharing that. So thank you, Marissa, for your encouragement there. And I want to also say that, I didn't know, I mentioned it earlier, I didn't know how much I was going to share, even until the point that I shared it. So in one sense, it surprised me too, because I didn't know exactly how far I was going to go with it. So maybe that's the secret of that, is just being ready and open to what I feel God needs me to share.
Called, do. And then Aunt Lorna again said, the greater you want to achieve, great challenges come. The failures help to get where I am now. Wow.
Yeah. I'm big on goal setting, so I felt like this is an important point, is that the higher your aspirations, the equal amount of challenge will come, because that's what's needed to help you grow into someone who can achieve those things. So seeing challenges as a natural process of growth instead of an obstacle to where you want to go.
And then my comment again. The statement that God loves you hit me pretty profoundly this morning. Such a simple truth, but it can be so hard to feel. I was reflecting on why that is, and then I felt, oh, it's because we haven't created the space in our heart for us to feel it. I've got some spring cleaning to do.
Yeah, I felt that was a very sweet comment, Yoshie. So it was one of the subtle points I was trying to get at, but you caught it. So
yeah, it took me a while to. I thought maybe I would like wait to share it on tea with the president, but then I might forget about it. So it took me a while to kind of find the words, but I did really kind of feel that during this. Yeah. Like when you said God loves you, I was like, yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah, if you're able to make room in your heart by going to those places where we've been kind of either hiding or holding on to, and especially pain, regret, sorrow, those kind of things, then it allows God's blessing and love to be felt more readily.
Yeah. And then we got 2 more comments. We have a lot of favorites today, I see.
Yeah, today was good.
Vincent said, so empowering, reassuring, and enlightening. My take is how soon we are able to receive God's blessing is all in our hands. God is simply waiting for us to unclog the pathways for God's blessings to reach us. Amen.
Yeah. This one, actually, this was something I caught for the first time this week when we were preparing for the sermon. Tal mentioned that, for the Jewish, they actually don't see Abram's, not cutting the doves as a big failure. And it's because in that same passage, it says that God still blesses him. And this is even before Abraham offers his son. So it wasn't even required for him to offer his son successfully in order to get the blessing. God basically said, okay, you screwed up there, so you got to suffer for 400 years. But in the end, they're going to be blessed anyway, and I will give all the land to them. Right. So it's almost like God wanted to love, already planned to give this. It's just that he wanted a certain condition, wasn't met, so he had to extend it. But it's kind of like that for us. Like God just wants to bless us, but it's many times we're what's holding the blessing back by our own concepts.
I felt that a lot in being a part of kind of planning committees for various retreats for second generation that are my age. God wants to love us so much that like I always kind of feel like my effort in being on this planning team is very minimal. It's like, here's something, and then but the day of the event, it's like all of this kind of love and blessings come and everything goes smoothly. I mean, it's happened a few times to me, and it just felt like he'll take what he can get and just claim it and be like, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's good enough. Here's the prize.
And then Gundilla said, thank you, Naokimi, for such a vulnerable and healing message, especially that we can offer up our mistakes and failures to God as part of our offering, to process them, to live more fully in the present and not carry them as a burden.
Yeah, I felt like this comment really summed it up. And even in the biblical message about the fire coming and claiming both sides, it really showed that God accepts both your victories and failures. And and I think of it, from a parental perspective, regardless of what mistakes your kids make, you want to constantly encourage them to keep growing. And what I want more than anything is I don't want my child to like dwell in their failure. I want them to learn from it and continue to grow. That's what I want for them. So that's also how I feel God feels about each of us as well.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Okay. So that is the end of the comments. Let's see. I know we're a little bit over and you have another meeting to jump to. Is there anything that you're looking forward to this coming week?
Well, I'm hoping it's not 100%, but I'm hoping to wrap up my taxes this week and also catch up a little bit on my UTS. I've been always saying this, so I'm not 100% sure if we'll get there, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
Putting it out there into the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. Just having time to take care of personal stuff is quite a challenge. But anyway, we will make it happen this week. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for making time, President Naokimi. And yeah, God bless you all, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Take care, everyone. Good night.